running? Why are you running?
G Game Master 16.
Now, I'm sure you guys have already heard about Sony PlayStation wanting to throw away discs in the compactor and become an Amazon online empire. Recently, the Sony CFO, Lin Tao, shared what their decision is when it comes to physical discs, which we already knew what their answer was going to be.
So PS5 ending disc production, the second question. So on this point, so we announced that January 2028 onwards, we will no longer be manufacturing game discs. So 1.5 years ahead. So we made this announcement at this time. There are various reasons we made this decision, the biggest being that the digitalization of contents overall has been progressing. That's the big factor. It's not just for PlayStation, but for all kinds of contents, digitalization is progressing. And so when we think about the future, and we put in a lot of thought and time, and we cautiously considered this, and we came to this conclusion, and we're going to cautiously move this forward. And to this decision, we have received various opinions, and people have strong views, and we understand that the community has put forth those views to us. Games are loved by many people. It's a form of entertainment that's loved by people, and it's connected to people's fond memories in many cases. And so we understand those emotions. We want to consider that, and in the future digital ecosystem, how do we engage the gamers is something that we would like to continue to explore.
I mean, they already screwed people over numerous times the last couple of years, such as deleting over 500 movies and TV shows from users' libraries due to license expirations, shutting down the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita stores by 2027, settling lawsuits over high prices on the PlayStation Store, raising prices on PlayStation Plus Premier plans, and finally now planning to remove discs from their game development position. Heck, they're even trying to release a vinyl wireless record player. A vinyl record player. You know, that plays physical vinyl discs, which Sony is okay with continuing an old form of music consumption in their music division, but clings on to becoming the next Amazon Online or Steam. Sony's digital platform is not as stable enough to stop them from getting hacked or taken down. Then, Sony implemented a DRM policy to digital games, which is just a rental pass that enables players to play online for a 30-day validity window. After those 30 days are up, Sony requires a mandatory check-in, and if you don't do it, the game's online features will fail to work unless you do the check within that time frame. By April 2026, gamers thought the DRMs were needed every month, but Sony said it only requires you to do it once. The DRM policy was being established to combat refund scams and license exploitation on jailbroken consoles. Even though Sony wants to prevent any secondhand markets from making any profit off their games, in other words, like piracy. This only backs up people's concerns on how Sony is going to handle their new digital future past 2028, while Sony acts like it's not going to impact their business in the present or the future. That is kinda disingenuous, and the executive board of directors and the C-suite really don't care about their customers now, and would rather just gather as much money as they can by closing themselves off even more by becoming a type of the price is right monopoly ecosystem. It even goes as far as the PlayStation Network going down every now and then, and hackers getting into the system to steal data. Recently, the PlayStation Network shut down for a few hours, and Sony never even took into account speaking to their audience of this issue to reassure them that this won't happen again. Because their line of thinking revolves around not really caring about interacting with their customers until it really starts impacting their financial bottom line. They basically brush the audience off due to them being overly complacent with their earnings report being in the great category. You know what? Let's go back to the vinyl player again, since Sony thinks its players won't put the pieces together with what they announced on July 1st, to them announcing a new physical music media player that's as old as the late 40s all the way to the early 2000s. Put in the comment section down below whether you think Sony's digital monopoly would even last past 2028. My perspective is that the Sony higher-ups won't reconsider taking control from players unless they're forced to. That's the brutal reality. Also, with all the controversies that Sony got themselves into, they're already starting to double down on their no-disc stance by having GTA 6 not have a physical disc release at all. It's just a piece of paper with a download code and they try to paint it as physical media. That's basically false advertising to your audience when you say it's a physical release, but it's just a plastic box with a clean sheet of paper inside it. That seems like an insult to the customers that want GTA 6 that expect a disc because it's not 2028 yet. Sony as a corporation rushing to close themselves off into their own ecosystem while increasing their digital store prices is going to cause financial losses for them long term. They would charge $80 for the standard price of GTA 6, which you don't even get the complete version of the game, while they charge $100 for the Ultimate Edition that does contain all the game content. It sounds like a scam to be paying for the standard edition when some of the extra story missions are locked behind a paywall and try to bait you into getting the Ultimate Edition. As opposed to the rivals at Microsoft, Xbox is showing some promise. They are undergoing mass layoffs and actually are listening to their customer base, which is something gamers desperately need nowadays. They're doing the smart thing by developing a system where the Project Helix was a disc-to-digital feature to protect and preserve access to physical game collections. That sounds like a better solution than what PlayStation is doing. They would rather put all their eggs in one basket and wait for more money to start rolling in, which is a terrible business strategy. Especially with gamers still bothering them about the physical disc thing and the PlayStation blackout happening, they will start to have some hiccups later down the road. While Xbox is catering at least somewhat to what gamers want, PlayStation is on a completely different level of arrogance as they focus on the short-term growth in their quarterly earnings, but forget to think about whether their digital future is even going to benefit them or bankrupt them in the long run. Sony, I believe, is hoping gamers just forget about the physical media situation and keel over, because they're just consumers who buy their stuff anyway. PlayStation now is literally flaunting it in gamers' faces by slapping a label saying they want to throw discs in the trash past 2028. Sony PlayStation in its history from the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5 have mostly been in the market of making physical discs for games. If Sony is going to market the PlayStation 6 based on being a digital console platform, then you're better off getting a PC at that point and play games on Steam. With Steam, you can at least own what you buy, and not go through rental DRMs and not have to worry about your games being removed from your library whenever the company feels like it and is not going to give you your money back. Depending on the gaming PC you get, you would have to learn to change the graphics card if the card that comes with the PC is not strong enough to handle games with higher performance specifications. But the way Sony wants to be like Steam, it's better to just get a gaming PC and play knowing that you own your games. Make sure to subscribe to the G Game Master 16 channel, make sure to like and share and comment below, and remember to keep your chill rate 100.